Boom, 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 boom. Now tell me what you gonna do, but it ain't nowhere to run. When judgment comes for you, when judgment comes for you, tell me what you gonna do, when it ain't nowhere to hide. When judgment comes for you, 'cause it's gonna come for you.
Making it for water, easy, see something Charlie. Little boo guy's got him, and I'm gonna miss everybody out of row and flow like I ain't looked at a while. Like I'm praying for dust, and they play too deep for beats. Little legs I got to be. Tell me your feature deceased, would it please? Marry me by my grand, when you can go follow
God bless you, working on the plan to heaven. Follow the Lord all 24/7 days.
Professional wrestling. This week I'll be running through the results and happenings from Raw on July 14th to Collision on July 19th. We ended with SmackDown last week, which is why I stumbled there for a little bit. But we'll start with Raw. We open with a long recap of Saturday night's main event and Evolution that happened the past weekend. Naomi comes out to start the show as she had cashed in her Money in the Bank contract and become the new Women's World Champion. She told everyone to not guess her next move because no one knew what she would do. Now she is a new champion, and she has left Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill in the dust on SmackDown. It was a plan for a month, but they had months in the making, and look at where she is now, champion. Anyone who is wanting to come after her title can proceed with caution, which brings out Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley is not happy with what Naomi did, and Ripley says she will never proceed with caution. She will come in guns a-blazing every time. Naomi interfered in her match, so now she is on Ripley's list. Io Sky then comes out, former champion, saying Ripley can wait her turn because she was the former champion, so she gets the first shot. Naomi said she'd cash in to become champion, and that's exactly what she did. Adam Pearson comes out and says he doesn't want any violence in the situation. He congratulates Naomi on her win, but then makes a triple threat match for the championship at SummerSlam between the three ladies because, Rhea and Io had a classic before the cash in, and the cash in just added to the moment. So, that's two big shows that Rhea and Io have been in matches together, and they've blown it completely out of the water both times, at Mania with Bianca and that match at Evolution just with themselves, and obviously the cash in added on to it. But I know it would get redundant and boring probably after a while, but as long as they're churning out what they've been churning out, you can throw Rhea and Io on every show, and I don't think anybody would complain. So, but we'll move from there. Judgment Day is polishing all their title belts, but Dom Mysterio is worried about AJ Styles stalking him. Finn Balor isn't worried, but thinks Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez could use some help against the Kabuki Warriors tonight. So Balor thinks it's a good idea that Dom Mysterio accompany them to the ring, and he says it'd probably be good to get him out of the backstage so AJ can't mess with him. The Judgment Day then defeat the Kabuki Warriors when Dom distracts Asuka, allowing Roxanne to get a roll-up victory. We then go back to the back, and Paul Heyman and his boys are they are not going to talk about Seth Rollins' health as they act like they don't know anything. And then Heyman reminds us that he has until next June, when the next Money in the Bank is, to cash his Money in the Bank contract in. So even if he is out for a while, he still has that whole year to cash in the contract. But as for tonight, Braun Breaker is running the gauntlet to go to SummerSlam to face Gunther to become the new World Heavyweight Champion. We then show Miz at a celebrity golf tournament over the weekend where George Kittle was his partner, and they got into a little bit of a tiff, and somewhere I read that they called what he did a sweet chin music, but it was more of like a side big boot kind of move. But yeah, he boots him in the face and leaves him laying on the tee at the golf course that they were playing at. So might see a Miz George Kittle match. We already have Jelly Roll in a match, so we might see Miz versus George Kittle at some point too. Maybe not at SummerSlam, but at some point in history or in the future. I mean, but we go from there. Lyra Valkyria wants to beat Bayley tonight, but Bayley comes in and says she needs to win. And she says maybe what's best for Lyra is to stay out of her way once the match is over tonight. We then get that 2 out of 3 falls match between the two ladies, and Lyra Valkyria beats her 2-1, winning the third fall via pinfall with the Nightwing. And then after the match, Becky Lynch comes down and has a stare down with Lyra. So they will face each other for the Women's Intercontinental Championship at SummerSlam. We then look at Stephanie Vaquer winning the Evolution Battle Royal. She says she is excited about her win and is ready to fight for the championship at Clash in Paris. But Chelsea Green and her Secret Service come in and they say she should get the shot instead. Green then mocks Stephanie Vaquer's nickname. I think she calls her La Primavera or something like that. And then says that she herself, Chelsea Green, is off to face a Hall of Famer. We then get Karrion Kross and Scarlett. They says your favorite bad guys are here to save the day. Sami Zayn isn't here though because Kross helped take him out. Kross thinks that Zayn is hiding at home where he should stay until he is ready to say Kross told the truth the whole time. We then get Nikki Bella defeating Chelsea Green via pinfall following the Rack Attack 2.0. I'm not going to call it the Rack Attack 2.0 probably after this. That's just what they called it, but that's an absurd nickname. We're just going to call it the Rack Attack from here on out, but I wanted to point out that that's exactly what they called it on the broadcast. But after the match, the Secret Service lay Nikki out, and Stephanie Vaquer comes in and makes the save after the dust up that they had in the back earlier. We then get the New Day with Grayson Waller. They say they're in the third stage of grieving for the death of their tag team titles. And that third stage is barbecue. They offer Adam Pearce a pair of well done toupees. Pearce then says they'll find out who the new number one contenders for the Judgment Day's tag team championships are next week. So don't flip their wigs. And when he says this, he flips the tray that has the two wigs on it over. Pearce then goes over to the Judgment Day and says Dom Mysterio is going to be reevaluated next week with doctors. If he is cleared, he will be defending his Intercontinental Championship against AJ Styles at SummerSlam. The rest of the Judgment Day leave, and we see that AJ Styles is kind of off in the distance, praying that Dom Mysterio will be cleared. Mysterio then kind of looks up to the heavens and says, God, please don't let me be cleared. And then Styles responds and says, don't listen to him, God. Make him cleared so I can have my shot, which was a pretty good segment. AJ's actually been pretty funny in these backstage segments with Dom lately. I'll give him a lot of credit, bringing some good comedy chops in the backstage segments that they've been in. We then get Rusev. He cuts a promo, says he's better than Sheamus, who obviously walks up to him as soon as he says this. Sheamus says he isn't going to jump Rusev, but they're going to have a rematch because Rusev cheated to win the first time. We then get Gunther out to the ring. He brags about retiring Goldberg. He beat Goldberg up, blew him up, and finished him off. Now Gunther wants to know who is next and promises an answer soon. We'll find out next in a gauntlet match, which Gunther will be watching from his suite up in the arena. Braun Breaker then comes out to interrupt him. Paul Heyman shakes Gunther's hand and loads up all of his catchphrases. But Gunther says he knows Heyman's name and doesn't want to hear it. Gunther and Breaker have a stare down, and Heyman explains the gauntlet match, saying that Breaker isn't someone as easy as Goldberg. You aren't looking at another contender because he is a Steiner. I don't want to. I mean, they've obviously acknowledged that Rick Steiner is his father, but I think that's the first time they've ever really called him a Steiner on broadcast television, at least. But then he says Breaker is going to win the title with Gunther eventually walking away from Heyman continuing to talk. We then get that gauntlet match where Braun Breaker almost makes it all the way to the end, but CM Punk is the last person to come out, and he defeats Braun Breaker to become the number one contender for the World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam. Like I said, Breaker lasted the entire, I think it was 41 minutes or high 30 minutes. But along the way, he defeated Penta, LA Knight, and Jey Uso before obviously falling to CM Punk. After the match, Bronson Reed jumps Punk. So Jey Uso comes back out and makes the save. Breaker hits the spear on Uso and another one to Punk, and a double tsunami is loaded up. And then Roman Reigns makes his return, coming out, take a Superman punches Bronson Reed, and then him and Breaker battle for a little bit. He hits a Superman punch on him and then spears Bronson Reed to leave them both laying. And Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, and CM Punk stand tall to end the show. Obviously, Reigns and Jay kind of shake hands and stuff, but Punk and Reigns kind of have a stare down. So I don't quite think that Punk and Reigns are done with each other. They had the triple threat at Mania, but I have a feeling a singles match between those two guys is upon us at some point in the future. But this is a tough best match of the night for me. I mean, the Gauntlet was incredible. I would definitely go check it out for Breaker's performance. He was absolutely incredible. Like I said, he lasted all 40 minutes of the whole match. Something really impressive to see somebody as young in his career as him to do something like that. So I would definitely check that out. But I would give Lyra and Bailey just a little bit of a head, stick them a little bit ahead. I thought that 2 out of 3 falls match that they had was really good and continues to show how good how good they've presented the Intercontinental title picture, because it really means a lot to these 3 women. Obviously, the champion being Becky Lynch, and then Bailey and Lyra really wanting to get an opportunity to fight for it. So they've done a really good job of presenting this mid-card division for the women, and really putting some stars there and giving them opportunities and time to really have some great matches. So I would go with Lyra and Bailey as best match, but the Gauntlet and it are like, right there next to each other. It's I would honestly give it to both of them if you really ask me. I mean, I think they were pretty even and both really well done. So check both of those out. The whole Raw was great. Our own Jennifer Smith was there live, and I said she picked one of the best Raws maybe ever, if not of just the last 20 years or so to go to, because it was really, really solid episode top to bottom, and only one men's match. I mean, it took up 40 minutes of the episode, but a lot of women got a lot of opportunities on this one, and they took full advantage of it. So really good show to kind of start off the week. But we'll go from there to NXT. We get a Great American Bash recap. We also look at Blake Monroe turning on Jordan Grace at Evolution during the NXT Women's Title match. Fatal Influence comes out with JC Jane. She got her throat got hit by an elbow during the match, so she's not being able to speak very well because she had an injury to her throat. But she is not happy with what the rest of the team did at Great American Bash. Obviously, Fallon took the pin, and Jasmine kind of screwed up on the outside. She says all okay though, because she got to shock the world again at Great American Bash and retain her championship. Shocking people is what JC Jane does best, and that is what she is going to do again at TNA Slammiversary this weekend. This brings out TNA Knockouts champion Masha Slamovich, who she'll be facing, to say she'll win the title on Sunday, but JC Jane says she's walking out with both championships. Sol Ruka and Zarya then come out to kind of even the odds. Ruka says she's already got 2 titles, as she is the women's speed champion and the North American women's champion. Zarya says Sol Ruka was the MVP of the weekend with her 3 matches. She had a match at Great American Bash. She had a match at Evolution, and then I believe she also had a speed match at some point last week. So she only actually won one of those, but she did have a heck of a performance in most of those spots. So and then they obviously all brawl and set up a 6-woman tag for later in the night. We then get a video on Tony D'Angelo's rise throughout the ranks of NXT to kind of build towards the 3-way between the D'Angelo family members that we'll have later on. We then get Dark State. They defeat Joe Hendry, Mike Santana, and Trick Williams via DQ when the System from TNA come out and attack Dark State for getting involved in TNA business previously. And that'll actually lead to something that happens on Impact as well. So we then get Ariana Gray. She suggests that she should have been in the Battle Royal of the Evolution. Carmen Petrovich said she should have been as well. But Callie Armstrong, who is the Evolve Women's Champion, comes in and says she doesn't want to hear all this complaining. And then a match between her and Carmen is set for later tonight. We then get a video on Stax, who went from the underboss to being tag team champion with Tony D'Angelo to eventually turning on him. So kind of a piece on Stax and kind of his rise and what he's been up to on NXT for the last few years. We then go to the match between Callie Armstrong and Carmen Petrovich, but he only lasts about a minute before Jordan Grace comes out in a rampage and takes both of them out, and it ends in a no contest. After the match, she continues to beat them down and demands that Blake Monroe get out here right now. Instead, Stevie Turner and Robert Stone come in to explain that Blake is not here. We then get a video from Blake Monroe, who hates everything about Jordan Grace. and ask the fans which one of them would you rather be. Grace is then invited to Blake Monroe's singles debut next week, and Grace continues to beat up people when she beats up Stevie Turner and Robert Stone and yells at Ava and security on her way out to the backstage. We then get the Undertaker's team from LFG. They're in the back, kind of talking to each other. They're excited that the Undertaker is going to be on NXT next week, next Tuesday. Trick Williams then comes in and tells them to get out of the way and doesn't want to hear anything about them. He gets in Shiloh Hill's face and kind of talks down to him. And then after this happened, the Undertaker calls Shiloh, and we start to hear a little bit of the conversation on Shiloh's end, but not much is shown after that. So Undertaker will be here next week to kind of probably get in Trick Williams' face, but we'll see. We then get Jasper Troy. He is in Ava's office. He isn't happy, or she isn't happy about him attacking Ricky Saints during his Falls Count Anywhere match. Jasper Troy isn't impressed by Saints at all, but then Ava makes a match between the two of them next week. We then get our final preview piece on Luca Crucifino, the mind behind the D'Angelo family, who now seems to be on his own and not part of any of the groups and or sects of the D'Angelo family that have kind of split off. We then look at the Evolution Battle Royal. Stephanie Vaquer won it, as I talked about on Raw, with Lash Legend making a strong showing. She brags about her success and wants a title shot. Jada Parker comes in and seems to have a problem with that idea, so maybe they'll have a number one contenders match between the two of them in a later date. We then get Tony D'Angelo. He wins the three-way against Stax and Luca Crucifino after hitting a big spine buster on both. He does one to Luca through the table, and then back in the ring, he does one to Stax and wins the match. We then get Tavion Heights. He complains to Ren Sinclair, losing to Charlie Dempsey last week because Ren threw in the towel. They argue about it, but Ren then says she has a match next week. And wants the boys to support her. The guys can be in her corner if they want to be, but only if they want to be. And she's actually Blake Monroe's opponent in her first singles match. So that's who Blake is going to be facing. We then look back at Yoshiki Inamura not accepting Josh Briggs' interference at Great American Bash, resulting in him losing his shot at the NXT title against Obafemi. Josh Briggs then comes out and says, who lost an opportunity at Great American Bash? Why did Inamura get a title shot so soon when he's never gotten one? Inamura has only been here less than a year and got a high profile title match, but Briggs has been here for 4 years and has never gotten the shot. The reality is that Inamura is too nice, and if you have a shot, you need to take it. Obafemi then comes out to interrupt, saying Briggs ruined their match. Briggs says that Femi was taken to his limit, and Inamura let him up for air. Inamura then comes out to say Briggs does not speak for him, with Femi saying that Inamura has earned a rematch. Inamura cuts Briggs off, saying he is his own man and he will win his way with honor. Briggs issues a challenge for a triple threat match next week, and Obafemi seems game with this, and then they kind of battle for a little bit until security comes out and separates them. We then get Ethan Page. He brags about his win and how great it is for the whole continent of North America. And he promises a big celebration next week in Houston, because they will actually be out of the NXT arena next week in Houston. So it's going to be a big match, or a big show, I mean. Ricky Saints is in the back, and he says he's sore, but he's ready for Jasper Troy next week to get a little bit of revenge. We then get, I think, a tweet from The Undertaker that says he doesn't like that Trick Williams was rude to his LFG team and wants Trick to stay out of his yard next week, or he will face the consequences. We then get the culling. They aren't mad at Tatum Paxley. She is then touched by forgiveness, and she says she has an idea to get back at Sol Ruka. We then get Masha, Sol, and Zarya defeating Fatal Influence when Masha hits the snowplow on JC Jane. Slamovich then hands JC Jane her title, and Jane kind of snatches it away. During the match, Sol and Zarya had kind of gotten taken out by the Culling girls, but Masha had kind of cleaned house before that, and like I said, pins JC Jane. So if you go by wrestling booking, that probably means that JC Jane is going to end up being our new TNA women's champion tonight on Slammiversary when it happens. So, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But we'll go for the main event, or the best match for me on NXT was the D'Angelo family triple threat. I thought it was really good. It was a really good brawl. They battled all around the outside, even took a big spot through the kind of wall of the balcony that they have in the NXT arena. So I thought that was a solid, a really solid spot that they did in that match. So really good stuff there. We'll go to Dynamite. We open with Tony Schiavone bringing out Hangman Page for his first big speech as the new champion. Schiavone, of course, leaves the ring to Hangman so he can talk. Hangman then says that the fans are chanting, "You deserve it," but they are the ones that really deserve it. So they start chanting, "We deserve it," in response to that. Page then talks about how the fans are the ones who wanted a grassroots approach to pro wrestling, and they are the ones who brought AEW into being. The people here do it for the fans rather than the title, which earns a "Thank you, Hangman" chant. Page then thanks people like Orange Cassidy, Jay White, Cope, the Ops, Bryan Danielson, and Darby Allin. He also needs to thank Will Ospreay, who made wrestling fun again. And finally, though, the fans know where he's going, but he doesn't know if the person helped Hangman for himself, AEW, or even helping Hangman himself. He doesn't know if he's talking about Swerve Strickland. He thanks Swerve Strickland. He doesn't know if he actually just did it for Swerve or the company or even Hangman, but thanks him anyways. But Hangman says he has a wife and 2 kids who love him, and he is the world champion, so he is incredibly thankful. We then see the Young Bucks showing up in an Uber to the show instead of their usual limo, facing their or after losing their EVP positions. We then have a match where Kyle Fletcher defeats Mascara Dorado via pinfall following a brainbuster. We then get Schiavone telling us that we'll hear from Dustin Rhodes on Collision after his big TNT title win at All In. We then get the Young Bucks being given the cold shoulder by Marina Shafir when they walk past her, and they find their basically broom closet dressing room. Don Callis comes in and offers to do business with them. The Bucks says they won't join the family, but they do hug Don Callis and plot Don Callis. I said Doug. Don Callis, and they do hug him and say that they will consider partnership, maybe not joining the family, but doing business at some point. We then get MVP begging for a legendary team to step up and challenge the Hurt Syndicate, the tag team titles. MJF then shouts about being the best in the world and being better than Hangman Page. He says if Hangman Page is the main character in this movie, then he can be the villain because nice guys finish last. We then get the Don Callis family represented by Josh Alexander and Hechicero, teaming with the Young Bucks to defeat Jet Speed, Brody King, and Bandito when Hechicero is able to choke Bandito out, setting up their next ROH world title feud, I believe. We then get Adam Copeland, a.k.a. Cope, come out. He doesn't start cutting his promo until the fans finish singing his song like always. He thanks them and says, no, of course, he did not save Christian Cage. He doesn't know what is wrong with Christian, but he is proud of the patriarchy. No, he came back at All In because he wanted to get his hands on FTR. They were the first people he called when he got back in the ring, and they wanted to be rated FTR. But then FTR started complaining about being in Cope's shadow. They put him on the shelf for 4 months, and those are 4 months he doesn't have and will never get back. Cope is is back to get rid of FTR, but Stokely Hathaway comes out with some security to interrupt him. Hathaway doesn't like Cope, and apparently Cope, using Spike, got 3 anonymous letters sent to AEW. Therefore, if Cope interferes in an FTR match, he is officially fired. So go on and find a hobby and leave FTR alone. Cope says Hathaway looks like a fat Oompa Loompa, and what a shame it would be if that caught on. Hathaway then said Cope couldn't get near FTR, but he didn't say anything about getting near Stokely. So he takes out the security and then ends up spearing Stokely Hathaway and leaving him laying. We then get Mark Briscoe. He says MJF ducked and dodged him like a bitch. He even says something like, if it sounds like a duck, talks like a duck, walks like a duck, it is a duck. And he does the same thing. He's like, if it talks like a bitch, walks like a bitch, then it is a bitch. He says something to the effect of that. But Briscoe, he says he didn't accomplish his goals at All In. MJF brought up his brother, and Mark is going to make him pay for his sins. We then get Tekla defeating Queen Aminata, Willow, Nightingale, and Chris Statlander when Tekla does the stomp after Julia Hart interfered and missed it Aminata after Willow and Statlander had kind of run away and battled with each other kind of the backstage. We then get Tony Storm on a balcony, kind of in the arena. They were in this really weird place. I think they said it was in Chicago, but it was this. I made a joke to my friends in a group chat that it kind of looked like the German restaurant in Epcot at Disney World. So I thought that was kind of the layout it kind of looked like, but it was some kind of it was some kind of place in Chicago, from what I remember them saying. But she was on this balcony that's kind of in there. List off all of her nicknames before saying that the Tramp is still a champ. She thanks Mercedes Money, as she has been calling her, for going all in with her. But she warned Monet that if she made one mistake, she would eat Monet alive. And she says, "Darling, you were delicious." And if Monet wants to come back for seconds, this buffet is always open. Unfortunately, Luther was injured in the line of duty during the match and is going to require reattachment surgery. Athena then pops up on the screen and cuts her off, brags about her own abilities before saying Storm's demise is at hand because now she has a contract for a title match anytime she wants it. Storms then says, "If you're able, I will bend you over the table," before we kind of cut away. We then get the patriarchy. They say they are now known as the matriarchy, as Mama Wayne is kind of the boss leading things now. Christian Cage is now beyond his expiration date. Nick Wayne brags about being the youngest champion in the company's history, and that Cage created the monster that is Nick Wayne now. So we'll see what Nick Wayne does kind of leading this group now with Christian out of the way. So we'll see how that ends up kind of working out. But we move from there to a squash match where Okada defeats Quintero in about a minute with a Rainmaker. After the match, Okada calls Swerve Strickland a bitch for screwing with the Young Bucks, and then Swerve Strickland comes out and he asks what Okada meant by that. And Okada, of course, bails, being the chicken shit hill that he is. We then get Powerhouse Hobbs, Mark Briscoe, and Hangman Page. They defeat the Death Riders when Hangman is able to catch Claudio Castagnoli with a surprise roll-up. After the match, the Death Riders beat Page down until Darby Allin pops up in the rafters. The distraction allows Hangman to get in a buckshot lariat on Mox, and then Darby continues to look down to end the show. As far as best match, I would go with that main event tag. As I've said ad nauseum for 60 episodes now, they do these 6-man kind of balls to the wall, batshit crazy brawls pretty well. So I will usually go with that if they have one on the shows. So, but we'll move from there to Impact. We open with Moose defeating Sami Callihan fairly quickly, following a couple of spears. After the match, Moose promises to retain the title on Sunday before telling Sami Callihan that he doesn't have it anymore. The Death Machine is now just a fat piece of garbage. Callihan needs to take his boots off and get out. So Callihan unlaces his boots and rolls to the outside. He brings out the rest of the system as Sammy leaves, and then they're supposed to have a match that is scheduled where they're scheduled to face Order 4 next, but NXT's Dark State comes out and gets some revenge from Tuesday and attacks them before anything can ever start, so the match never occurs. We then cut to the back where Dani Luna is ready to face Tessa Blanchard and knows what she can do. Speaking of herself, obviously. We then get Tessa Blanchard defeating Dani Luna via pinfall after a slight distraction and is able to hit Magnum to win the match. Distraction came from Victoria Crawford, who's been Tessa's buddy as of late. After the match, we get a beatdown, but Indy Hartwell is out to make the save. Hartwell says that she and Blanchard have known each other for years, but at Slammiversary, Blanchard will get to know her bitch. So, well, there we go. We then get the Elegance brand. they messed up a inspiration autograph signing, so they got in their face and kind of got into a scuffle at an autograph signing that they were at. The inspiration then says they want the tag team titles and they're going to become 2-time champions when they get the shot. We then get the Elegance brand out to the arena to cut a promo. Ash complains about being fined for her actions against the inspiration and is being forced to make an apology. Everyone is talking about Masha Slamovich versus JC Jane, but the reality is that you should be that everyone should be talking about her. Ash goes on a rant about how she should be the number one contender, but Fatal Influence comes out to kind of interrupt them. JC Jane doesn't dislike the Elegance brand, though that changed when Ash said they were the most dominant faction in women's wrestling. Masha Slamovich comes out to interrupt as the Elegance brand that kind of bails. Slamovich talks about growing up in Russia and coming to New York, where she fought for her life. If Jane wants to take the title from her, Jane will have to stop her heart from beating. We then go to the back, and Killer Kelly and Indy Hartwell check on Danny Luna, who is getting checked by medics. We then look at the TNA World Titles contract signing from Great American Bash, where Dark State had attacked Joe Hendry and Mike Santana. They then had a 6-man tag match that I talked about from NXT, where the System came in and interrupted. We then get a video of Mike Santana. It's kind of like a voicemail from his dad, talking about how proud he is of Mike and wishing him the best. Before, I think he passed away over the last few years, but it was one of their last conversations I think they had with each other, or, voicemail that he left. We then get the Hometown Man defeating Judas Icarus via pinfall when he hit the sliced bread. After the match, Eric Young comes out and goes after the Hometown Man's mask, but before he can get too close to it, the Hometown Man escapes through the crowd. We then get Real One, a.k.a. Enzo Amore. He says he's coming to Slammiversary, and he's bringing some people with him, and I believe they end up making a 6-man match where him and Zilla Fatu and I think Josh Bishop is the guy's name, are going to tag against Macklin and a couple other people. I can't remember exactly who it was, but Steve Macklin comes up next and says he wants some competition for his international title. But I'm pretty sure he's in that 6-man. I want to say it's Macklin, Jake something, and Mance Warner maybe against Enzo and Zilla and Josh. So we'll see if that ends up happening, what that kind of ends up looking like. So we then get Matt Cardona. He is out to face a jobber, but calls out Dark State before the match can happen. They don't answer, and the match kind of starts, but eventually Dark State comes out to attack Cardona, and then the System come out and run them off at that point they're kind of outnumbered. So we then get the Hardys coming out. They thank the fans for allowing them to live their dreams for 33 years. Obviously, they get a thank you Hardy chant. Matt talks about how they never wanted to be a shell of themselves or what they once were. The fans tell him they still got it. Jeff reminds Matt that he recently got beat by AJ Francis, with Matt sarcastically thanking him for that reminder. They think it might be time to hang it up if they don't win the titles at Slammiversary in their ladder match that they have. Leon Slater comes out to interrupt, says he's struggled to keep up with the Hardys in the ring for the last 6 months. They have changed his life in the last few months and wants to thank them for that. Matt appreciates that, but Slater needs to focus on winning the X Division title. Slater wants them to get back to being the Hardys, but First Class comes out to interrupt them. They mock the Hardys, and Matt tells Slater that this is their fight and not to get involved. The Nemeths then come out and brag about their success, with Ryan saying they have been in more ladder matches than anyone ever, to which Tom Hannafin points out that Ryan Nemeth has never been in a ladder match. So then the Rascals interrupt, who they're the 4th team in the 4-way ladder match, and the Hardys clear the ring with the ladder, and they end up climbing it and posing to end the segment. We then get Santana and Joe Hendry defeating Trick Williams and Frankie Kazarian when Santana hits the spin the block on Kaz. After the match, all 3 title participants have a bit of a stare down heading into their match on Sunday. We then cut to a kind of dusty old warehouse where there is a box. We zoom inside, and there is a vest that has the letter and number P1 on it, and it's covered in dust. It was previously worn by AJ Styles, and somebody blows dust off of it and seems to pick it up as if it is AJ Styles himself, implying that he may be at Slammiversary this Sunday, which I'm pretty sure they've announced at this point that he absolutely will be. So we'll see if he gets involved in a match. We'll see if he just comes out and cuts a promo about his history and everything he accomplished in TNA, but we'll see once that show kind of talks or ends up happening. But the best match of the night for that was Santana and Hendry versus Trick and Kaz. So a lot of promo and stuff kind of leading to Slammiversary. So not much in the way of matches, but that main event tag was pretty good. We'll then go to SmackDown. We open in the parking lot where it seems like Solo and his MFT group have been hit with a car and seemingly been involved in some kind of car wreck. It's not clear what happened, and we'll have more on it later. Cody Rhodes comes up to Adam Pearce to make sure that the contract signing is still on for later tonight. We then go to earlier today where Alexa Bliss said she and Charlotte should just go our separate ways after not being successful at Evolution. But Charlotte has apparently gotten them a women's tag team title match at SummerSlam. As for tonight, Charlotte needs Bliss by her side. Bliss asked if she looks like a cheerleader. And Charlotte says, actually, yes, you do. And Alexa seems to agree with that statement. We then get Charlotte Flair defeating Raquel Rodriguez via pinfall with her kind of big boot super kick type strike that she does sometimes. It's more of a big boot, but she kind of turns to the side, so it's slightly like a super kick. But she wins with that. Security then asks Adam Pearce to find Jacob Fatu, calling him a person of interest in the car crash. Pearce then finds Jacob Fatu, but he is not happy about having to go answer questions to the police. We then get video for Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill that'll happen at SummerSlam, with Stratton saying she's ready to face anyone, and Cargill says she's ready to become champion so she can prove that she is the best. We then look back at Aleister Black attacking Damian Priest last week. We then cut to earlier today where Carmelo Hayes didn't think much of Priest, who seemed ready to beat Hayes up anyway, and then they make a match for later tonight between the two. That matchup is next, where Damian Priest defeats Carmelo Hayes, but it's by DQ when Aleister Black comes out and attacks Priest. Then after the match, Black hits Bliss, and Hayes leaves before Black can do anything to him. We then get the Wyatt Six after talking about wanting gold and achieving it. They are built for this. They are built to be champions. One by one, they will take out each of the rest of the teams in the tag team division. We then get Solo Sikoa. He comes out with his MFT group mates. They get interrupted by an OTC chant, obviously with Roman coming back on Raw. Solo says tonight was a perfect example of exactly what Jacob Fatu really is. Fatu only cares about himself and has no discipline. Sikoa turned Fatu's life around, put money in his pocket, and made him a champion. Sikoa says that if Fatu is once a criminal, he's always a criminal. We then cut to the back where Jacob Fatu arrives in a police car after being questioned. One of the officers says, upon further review, Fatu was not a person of interest, and he is free to handle his business. Fatu comes to the ring with Jimmy Uso sneaking up from behind to even the odds. Tala Tonga cuts Jimmy off, but Fatu hits one of his big dives. Fatu then dances, but Tala gets up, earning himself a double team. JC Mateo and Tongaloa are destroyed as well as Tala and Sikoa leave together. Adam Pearson comes out to say if Sikoa wants to get Fatu locked up, let's see how Sikoa likes it when he and Fatu are locked in a cage at SummerSlam for another United States title match in a steel cage. And then the police officers come out, seemingly to come back to get Jacob again, but they instead arrest Solo Sikoa instead. So Solo is somehow involved in the cause of all this. So we then get Stephanie Vaquer defeating Alba Fire via pinfall following the SVB. After the match, Piper Niven comes out to help her Secret Service partner, but Vaquer is able to fight both of them off and stand tall. We then get the Street Profits. They say the Wyatt Six are in a different reality, but they'll get their belts back. DIY comes in to laugh at them for screwing up the tag team division last week. Watch their match next, and because the Profits could learn something about the best tag team in the division. We then get Andrade and Rey Fénix defeating DIY, the Motor City Machine Guns, at Fraxium when Andrade hits the message on Ciampa, and this earns them a future tag team title shot. And then we'll go to our last segment, which is the contract signing between Cody Rhodes and John Cena. Adam Pearce is obviously kind of the MC of the whole thing. Rhodes comes out first and talks about how he got to be WWE champion, a dream of his since he was a child. Earlier this week, he said, "No, not flinch, and thank you for riding with me." Rhodes said he did not flinch when he faced adversity, and now it is time to try to take the title back from one of the most beloved wrestlers in history. That is the task that he has received for SummerSlam, so he would like Cena out here now. Cena says that he is emotionally exhausted and has a movie for Netflix coming up soon, so there is no way he can have this match. Instead, they can have the match in Paris or Perth. Either way, Cody's going to get a shot, just not at SummerSlam. They wanted to give these people fireworks and a night to remember, but this is all Cena can give them tonight. Cena goes to leave, but Rhodes takes his jacket off and goes after him, and then the brawl is on, with Cena sending Rhodes into the steps. Cena then grabs the title, but Rhodes takes it away and knocks him out cold. He hits a top rope splash through the table with the contract in his hands. Cena then grabs Cena's hand and makes him sign the contract. And he also tells us that Cena did not read the fine print, as it will be a street fight at SummerSlam. And Rhodes holds up the title to end the show. The number one contender tag team match was the best match for me on SmackDown. I thought it was really well done. The SmackDown tag team division completely laps the Raw division, and it's not even close, but really good stuff from those four teams. So definitely check that out. And then we'll go to Collision to finish up the week. We have Tony Schiavone in the ring again. Welcomes out Dustin Rhodes this time. The fans think that Dustin deserves this, and Dustin wishes his dad was here. His dad told him to keep stepping all the time, and he has remembered it for a long time because it means to keep being persistent and never give up. One day he hit rock bottom, but the one thing he has never done is tell himself that he is not good enough. Getting back up is what keeps himself going every day. Now he is the face of TNT, and he will give his all each and every week. Don Callis and Kyle Fletcher then come out, and Fletcher says that this should be his celebration. The one thing Rhodes has done is sign his own death certificate because that title belongs to Fletcher. Rhodes talks about the times that he has come short with this title, but now he's here because he pulled off what Fletcher couldn't. Callis says Rhodes is a great wrestler and a better man, but the high that he is still chasing is being champion. So what happens when Fletcher takes the title? Callis will save a place in the family for Dustin Rhodes because it's better than being the third wheel in his horrible family. They then start to battle, and Rhodes easily clears the ring of Kyle Fletcher. We then get a video for a Willow Nightingale versus Chris Statlander match that will happen. We then get Ricochet defeating AR Fox via pinfall following the Spirit Gun. We then look back at Hangman beating Moxley at All In and the fallout from Dynamite and that tag team match that they had. We then go to commentary where the Death Riders jump Colt Cabana and bust him open. Cabana gets hung with a chain over the ropes, and eventually the Death Riders bail through the crowd. We think Chris Statlander, she's ready to face Willow Nightingale because she is the better wrestler. Wheeler Yuta then comes in and tells her that champions bounce back, and Statlander does not seem pleased with the continued annoyance that is Wheeler Yuta getting in her business. We then get Megan Bayne defeating Ty Mello via pinfall following a Liger Bomb. We then get the new group Skyflight. They are still looking for a fight. Don Callis comes in. Christopher Daniels says they're not looking for management, but rather competition. So obviously we'll probably see Skyflight take on some version of the Don Callis family in the near future. We then get Alex Windsor. She says she took Athena to her limits, and now she is all elite. Alex Windsor then defeats Taya Valkyrie via submission with the sharpshooter. After the match, Athena pops up on the balcony and says Windsor didn't take anyone to her limit, so get out of here. And she just kind of bails. Athena says it's time for her to take over and mocks Tony Storm's voice and posing. Tony Storm then pops up in the ring and challenges Athena to come fight right now. Athena says that Storm gets to face Billy Starks on Dynamite to see if she's even worthy of facing Athena. Storm says it works for her. She goes to storm the balcony, and Athena ends up running away. We then get Billy Gunn comes in to see Anthony Bowens, who thinks they're on different pages. Gunn says that Bowens is obsessed with Max Caster, but he has a slump buster in mind for him next week, and Bowens seems in with this idea. We then get the Gates of Agony defeating Crew, the Guns, and Big Bill and Brian Keith when they hit open the gates on Action Andretti. With winning this match, they win $200,000. So another one of these money matches that they've made over the last month or so on Collision. We then get a video of the end of the patriarchy, and again talking about Cope wanting Christian Cage to turn it around and be his buddy again, but he needs to find himself first. Max Caster does an open challenge, and it's answered by Kyle O'Reilly. Kyle O'Reilly taps him with the cross arm breaker a little over 2 minutes. We then get Juice Robinson in the back. He calls out Ricochet for costing the Guns the title shot, or costing the Guns the match earlier. But Big Bill comes in and brawls with Juice Robinson a little bit. We then get Rush defeating Katsuyori Shibata via pinfall following the horns. After the match, they continue to beat Shibata down, but Powerhouse Hobbs comes out and saves this trio's tag team partner. And then in the main event, Jet Speed, Mascara Dorado, and Bandito defeat the Don Callis family, represented by Josh Alexander, Hinchacero, Rocky Romero, and Lance Archer. And you'll never guess, but Lince Dorado pins Rocky Romero after hitting a shooting star press on him. And then, as I talked about earlier, Bandito and Hinchacero seem to be the next ROH title feud. So they kind of have a stare down and yell at each other to end the show. And that match for the main event of Collision was definitely the best match of the show. So, like I said, always really good with those 8 and 6 man tag team matches. So that one was really entertaining with a lot of luchadors in it and big moves from those kind of guys. So definitely check that one out. As always, thank you for joining me here on the CrosUp, and we will see you next week when we cover Slammiversary and all the stuff that happens on TV throughout the rest of the week. So thank you. We'll see you then.
You can't see me, my time is now. It's the franchise where I'm shining now. You can't see me, my time is now. In case you forgot or fell off, I'm still hot, knock your shell off. My money stacked fat, plus I can't turn the swell off. The franchise doing big business, I live this, it's automatic. I win this, so you hear those horns, you finish. A soldier, and I stay under you fighting. Plus I'm storming on you chumps like I'm thunder and lightning. Ain't no way you breaking me, kid, I'm harder than nails. Plus I keep it on lock like I'm part of the jail. I'm slaughtering stale competition. I got the whole block wishing they could run with my division, but they gone fishing with no bait. Kid, your boy, hold weight. I got my soul straight. I brush your mouth like Colgate. In any weather, I'm never better. Your boy's so hot, you never catch me in the next man's sweater. If they hate, let them hate. I drop your whole clan. Lay your ass down for the 3-second tan. Your time is up, my time is now. You can't see me, my time is now. It's the franchise where I'm shining now. You can't see me, my time is now.
It's gon' be what it's gon' be. 5 pounds of courage, buddy base, 10 pants with a gold tee. It's a war dance, a victory step. A raw stance is a gift, and you insist it's my rep. John Cena trademark, y'all are so-so. And talk about the bread you make, but don't know the recipe for dough. Aiming guns in all your photos, that's a no-no. When this pop, your lip lock, your big talks are blatant no-so. See what happens when the ice age melt. It seems monetary status is not what matters, but it helps. I'm rocking timepiece by Benny, if any. The same reason y'all could love me is the same reason y'all condemn me. A man's measured by the way that he thinks, not clothing lines, ice links, leather and minks. I spent 20 plus years seeking knowledge of self. So for now, Mark Breckers living life for wealth.
Your time is up, my time